So imagine you're sitting there, you're at your computer, and you're encountering a problem, any sort of problem. It can be unspecific. It's not doing something that you want it to do, or it's doing something that you don't want it to do. So what do? Well, you could hire somebody to build you a program or add a feature or anything like that, which is pretty expensive. Or you could learn how to fix that problem on your own. So I've been taking classes for about 2 years and been working on projects of my own just for personal use to learn how to become a developer and how to solve problems using computer programming. So today we will discuss a brief history of how programming languages came to be and where they're at now. Also, we'll talk about the steps you would take to solve your own problem. And lastly, we'll talk about why it's a beneficial skill to have. So, first we'll talk about the history. The first computer programming language was developed in 1883 by a lady named Ada Lovelace. The name of the programming language was the Algorithm for the Analytical Machine. And the analytical machine was really just a giant mechanical calculator. It just performed simple math, but with large numbers. So if you fast forward from 1883 to today, there are thousands of programming languages in existence right now. And there are different types of languages for different types of problems. And one in specific, there is specific languages for financial problems. To solve financial problems using a program, they use financial programming languages. So next we'll talk about steps to solve a problem. Well, first you need to identify your problem. What is it not doing that you want it to do? What is it doing that you don't want it to do? So you want to determine your end result. What are you after? And next you would write down the steps that you would want your program to do this for you. And you have to break it down as simple as you can possibly think, each step. And programmers call that pseudocode. So if you know a language, that's great. You can go ahead and solve your own problem. If you don't, there's lots of free resources online. There's 4 that I specifically like to use. One of them is codecademy.com. Another is geeksforgeeks.com and w3schools.com. There is also not so much free but cheap and very detailed online classes from udemy.com. I've taken several of those and they're definitely worth it. So next we'll talk about why it's a beneficial skill. It's a beneficial skill first because you learn how to solve problems and you learn how to think through those problems very critically, very step by step. Also, after having worked on a project for several weeks and you've got thousands of lines of code in your program, and you go to run your program and it works and things are doing what they're supposed to do, and it's very rewarding. Also, it's a great paying job. It's in very high demand. So in conclusion, we talked about the history of computer programming and the steps that you would take to solve a problem and why it's a beneficial skill to have. So earlier we had talked about encountering your own problem, and now you would know the resources you can go to find out how to solve your own problem. Thank you.